Children know more now at 13 than I did at 18. It's a culture that I readily admit that I don't fully understand. We all have our cultural issues and that we're struggling to make sense.
Now, for many of the young ladies and young men that are caught up in the culture, this is not just an option. This is normalcy for my way of life. So this is what you do.
One thing we know that hasn't changed about adolescent behavior is the importance of peer pressure.
The other thing that you cannot disassociate with is the presence in the media of the need to overly sexualize young girls and young girls of color in particular. All you got to do is look on BET and look at the latest video.
That's a message to our young people. The message is, if I'm a young sister, to attract a brother, I gotta be a hoochie mama. I gotta shake. I gotta give it up. For the young men, I could be a Mac Daddy, a pimp, a player.
And the reason why that's true is because they have so much media that allows them to get exposed to it at such an early age, not just in the home.
Many of us adults have no idea what our children are watching. You know, they're watching these music videos that are demeaning to us, and also programming us in terms of the type of behavior that we ought to be engaged in.
So the safeguards that you have in your home, on your home cable television, or on your phone or your computer is no longer applicable, because all you need is one person with one smartphone and everybody can look in.
Information technology is readily available, and children are visual and they are auditory. They text, they tweet, and the kind of interactions that happen as a result of what they see in the movies, what they see in the DVDs, what they experience on in the music that they enjoy, and in the porn sites they visit.
There's just an access, unfettered access to information.
One of the things that we've seen is that children younger and younger are participating in sexual intercourse. They are actually involving themselves in sexual intercourse in elementary school. One of the things that we've seen is that most of the time young boys are the aggressor. What I have observed in my practice is that the young women are the aggressors.
We watch our young girls, 11, 12, 13, 14, fully developed, looking like women. And what is that about?
When these little girls are small, they start dressing them in clothing that is not appropriate. Their little legs and thighs all out and got them painted up, and they look like little women.
The food that we eat has been genetically altered. That causes our bodies to grow in different ways. And so you see these young girls looking like women.
Young girls are starting their first periods, sometimes 8 and 9 years of age. They then are capable of actually giving birth to a child. At that point, if they are not informed, then they are in danger of an unintended pregnancy.
You can say to a group of young men or women that here are the statistics. If you have a child out of wedlock while you're a teenager yourself, here are the statistics. This was most likely to happen throughout your life and that child's life. And you can say that, and most of those statistics are dire.
Part of what we're experiencing, not with all, but with many young people that are falling into this trap, is there's something that they were missing in their life.
Most young girls nowadays are lacking father figures. They're lacking role models. They're lacking positive people in their life, and they're going towards men, making them believe, oh, you are the best, you can do this or you can do that, and your body is this, and we should just have sex, or maybe you should have sex with my friend. And then they get pregnant, or they get STDs, or you just get strung out and you just get an info for it, and next thing you know, some young women become prostitutes. It's like a cycle.
If a child is exposed to sexual abuse and molestation at an early age, then they become promiscuous early. They turn to prostitution, and they become involved in many sexual relationships simply because of the experiences that they've had.
Because once they have been violated, they are available for anybody.
Anytime an adult has sex with a child, that child is being violated. Even if that child is a willing participant, that child is being violated. What I've discovered is a growing number of young people getting involved in same-sex relationships. And oftentimes, I've had opportunities to discuss these things with these young people. And what I'm being told is that they oftentimes get exposed to it and no one is talking to them about it. Their parents don't know how to talk to them about it, and so they do their own exploring.
So you get the other kinds of sexual behaviors that for other reasons may not be pregnancy, but could lead to other risky behaviors.
Being sterile is even more uncomfortable. Having a baby that has AIDS or HIV positive is even more uncomfortable.
Obviously, one of the answers, one of the responses is abstinence, and not have sex until you're married.
I think the biblical concept of abstaining from sex until you're married is still relevant, but I don't think that that's what the real issue is. I think that the church has that responsibility to teach that to young people, but I don't know how practical just saying you're going to teach abstinence is.
I don't know, they may do it, may try not to have it, but I believe that young people are going to do what they want to do no matter how you preach.
The idea that young people shouldn't have sex until they're married, I think is very practical. But I think the problem we have with it is we put all the responsibility for that on the kids. If we expect that, if we're going to have that as an expectation, then we have to create a society or an environment that's conducive for that. We can't have all these sex ads on TV. We can't market sexuality in everything we do.
The truth of the matter is they can abstain from sex all day long, but if they're not grounded in having loving relationships, when they enter into marriage or anything else, it's still going to be a dysfunctional relationship.
We also know that the number one reason that families break up is because of money. So even if you wait, until you get married, if you get married and still don't have the skills to be able to provide for your family, you have a 1 in 2 chance of being divorced, and we're still back in the situation.
I got some 21, 22, 23-year-old young folks that basically got the same mentality as 14 and have no better resources for taking care of themselves. The issue becomes if that coat of hopelessness is put on, and not everybody does put the coat on, but if that coat is put on, then having a baby is actually just one more thing in a line of issues that I'm not willing to deal with or I'm not prepared to deal with as a teenager or a young adult.
And the other piece that makes it easier for guys to fall into is that you're not with the child for 9 months. The child is not developing in you. You have the option, as we've seen so often, that you can walk away.